As storylines go, it was both infuriating and uplifting. A Massachusetts newsman lost his job after seeking equal pay for women. But now it seems the story of Jeffrey Good's firing may be more complicated than was first reported.
The initial headlines were unequivocal. Daily Hampshire Gazette editor Jeffrey Good was fired because he championed equal pay for women. In an email to colleagues, Good says he urged raises for 3 female staffers who publisher Mike Riffenberg called girls and selfish young ladies. But 2 former employees said Good was part of the problem and not a champion for women. And Riffenberg said Good's firing had nothing to do with pay equity at all.
You know how I read this story? I feel very strongly with this. Whenever newspaper reporters are always trying to do stories about the culture of a newsroom, you're never going to capture what's really going on inside of any business, certainly not a newsroom. But when you try to parse out, who felt what about what person, or was he my boss, was he helping me, was he hindering me, you're going to get 1,000 different perspectives. So I'm sure this editor felt that he really was a champion, that he really was fighting. Others felt, hey, you were part of the problem, you hired me for less than you were paying Dan here. And it becomes this muddy morass. And who knows why he was eventually fired. Probably a combination of everything.
Well, I think he also wanted to go out in a blaze of glory and create the narrative about himself. And so he kind of comes out swinging, and it's this Me Too moment, and he can join in, and he can be the hero. And then, as you said, different people, different opinions, different perspectives, and look what happens now. He lost the narrative maybe
he did.
Completely.
Now he's losing it.
What stood out to me in that internal memo that he sent around, didn't he name the women?
He did.
Specifically. So that's an internal, if someone had come to you and said, I have concerns about how much I'm getting paid, that's not something that you would have addressed publicly, even to the staff. And then later, when Pointer article, right, when they reached out to him, he said, well, I'm not going to address, these sort of personnel matters. So I found a contradiction.
They were annoyed by that their names were.
Right, exactly. I mean, you're not going to out someone who comes with such a private matter to the newsroom and then now claim that you're not going to talk about that kind of thing.
Didn't he claim that the women gave their permission for him to use their names? Okay, all right, I must be mixing that up with something else.
He did say after the fact that he should have asked them, and he was sorry that he didn't.
Okay. Well, I don't really have much to add with what's been said, other than that this guy's, Mr. Good, has been at that paper for a long, long time, and it's been a really good paper that, known for its stability. A friend of mine, this guy Tom Vanna, was the editor there for 20 years. Wow. That's unusual at a small chain of papers like this. And if this means they're entering the realm of instability, that's too bad.
Yeah, Emily, I think you hit it right on the head. I have talked to people in this situation, and I think that Good, to an extent, was absolutely sincere in trying to do something about pay inequities. But at the same time, he is known as being kind of a prickly guy, and it's hard to know exactly what happened that led up to his firing.
Yeah. And, one interesting part of it was that everybody jumped on this because it was like, he's the hero. I mean, all the newspapers, big story in the Globe, Pointer got into it because it made it sound like here's our business, which has gotten so much attention in this inequity issue, and then here's this good guy who gets fired for allegedly doing the right thing, and of course it's not at all.